I'm Jessica, and this is Rhymes Reimagined, where I will teach you all the possibilities of thrifting and DIYing. If that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really supports me and what I'm trying to do here. And then also turn on the bell so you can get informed on every time I post a video. Typically I post videos every Monday, and I'm sorry that I wasn't here last week. I had some family things going on, so I did not have enough time to finish filming, editing, and get this video posted. But I am here this week, and I'm excited to show you a DIY. A couple weeks ago, I took my Christmas decorations down, and I just got sad because I felt like my house felt so empty and it wasn't festive anymore. Comment below if you know what I mean, if you too get sad when you have to remove all your Christmas decoration. The next holiday after Christmas, the big one, is Valentine's Day, and I'm not one to typically decorate for all of the holidays throughout the year, but I have to for Valentine's Day because I just feel like there's such a void after taking the Christmas decorations down. So I pull out just a few little things to put up around the house. So my garland here, this is not a DIY. This is a DIY that I usually put up for springtime, but this I think I got from Target from the dollar spot. But I'm replacing my Christmas wreath with this DIY that I've made. It is a cork, wine cork, wall hanging, door hanger, cork board. I don't know, it's versatile. This is a versatile DIY, but I will be putting it on my door. So if you want to see how I created this, stay tuned. I started this DIY with just Gorilla Hot glue and these corks that we have accumulated. We drink a lot of wine, so I've amassed lots of wine corks, and I wanted to come up with a creative way to use them all. So I start this DIY by lining up all of the corks and forming a heart-shaped pattern. It's heart-shaped because it's for Valentine's Day. I also just put the Gorilla Hot glue stick pack there to kind of keep all of the corks in place. But basically I'm just gonna form it, eyeball it, and form it until I start to see the heart coming together. Basically, you're just adding one more cork to each row to form the heart. And then I am a little anal retentive, and I am very particular about where the corks go and what logos and labels are showing. I wasn't really doing a pattern, but I wanted certain parts of the logos to show and other parts to not show and other parts. And then I had these black corks that I just added in throughout. I only had 4 of them. And then also I do use a corkscrew to get all of my corks out. So there are little pieces of the cork that were sticking out from when you pull the corkscrew out. You don't want to have those on the cork, so you may need to pull those pieces off in order to make sure you can have the corks right next to each other laying flush. So at the top, while I'm forming the heart, I actually make a break in the middle so that it completes the heart shape at the top. Now it's time to start gluing the corks together, and we are going to zoom through this because I am going to show you a much better way to do this instead of gluing each cork together and then each row together. This Gorilla Hot glue did not really hold, unfortunately, so I will show you a much better way to do this. Aren't you glad that you have someone like me to show you better ways to do DIY, so I can live and learn, and then you can learn from all of my mistakes. As you can see, it did not hold the Gorilla Hot Glue. So I'm going to bring in my trusty E6000, and I'm going to use this cardboard cake pan that I use for a diaper cake for a friend's baby shower. I had some left over, so this is perfect for this project. So I'm going to flip each piece that's still intact and put it on the back of this cake pan. I'm not entirely sure why I flipped it. I think I was just tired and annoyed with this project because it didn't stay intact. But I think my thought process was I could just slide it off, and then I could glue each piece to the back of this once I was done cutting. But basically what I'm going to do next is trace the entire thing as I chase these corks down. So I'm going to trace it just to get a basic idea of what the shape is so that I can cut it out. You'll actually want to cut it smaller than the outline because you don't want any of the cardboard to show through the wine corks, because the wine corks aren't straight. You can't really cut straight lines. And if I had I would recommend using like an X-Acto knife. It would make cutting this a lot easier because cardboard is kind of hard to cut with scissors, but that's all I had on hand right now. So I'm just going to slide it off and then get to cutting with some regular old scissors. So as you can see, I'm cutting on the inside of what I traced out. So this gives me a basic idea. What I'm gonna do is go back and cut any more of the excess. There may be some extra pieces that you want to cut away to ensure that none of the cardboard is showing through the cracks and the corks along the edges. Now it's time to get to gluing, and I'm flipping the pieces back. Don't ask me why. I don't know what I was doing. Watching myself do things is always interesting to me, but that was basically pointless. You do not have to do that step. And also, if I would recommend gluing to a cardboard surface as an alternative to what I did, you could glue each and every cork right onto a surface. I think that this would be a lot more secure, and then just using the E6000 instead of what I think I used like 8 hot glue sticks. You'll want to remove some of that excess glue that isn't doing anything too, because it's just taking up space. But I basically put a little bead at the top of the corks right there, and then I just put a generous amount on the cardboard. And I'm just going to keep gluing until it's all stuck together, and I'll let this cure overnight. To make the hanger, I used 2 pieces of jute twine, and I put a piece of tape at the top and the bottom to secure it in place, and then I just used my E6000 to glue it down. And you can also see I made a little mistake. I cut a little too much of the cardboard, so I did have to add an extra piece to secure it at the top. All done. It's already up and on the door. And to show you that it could be a cork board, I just stuck some cute little things up there. It's just a picture of my boyfriend and I from a wedding, and then I just wrote this cute little note for him to see when he comes out. But I think it turned out really great. I'm of course biased because I made it, but if you like it and you enjoyed this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up, and thanks so much for watching. See you next week.